pull it back straight from the top, this in my black and side. I unify like Queen Latifah, niggas press divide. They overdid the melodies. We need to change a tide. I contemplate to compromise, but there's no change in size.
Alright everybody, what is the crack? It is Dylan from Mabfield here, back with another episode of the Mabcast, and we've got a couple cool topics to talk about this week. For a while it was kind of difficult to think of some cool things to come up with, but from the other episodes I think some pretty interesting topics have been birthed. So yeah, as per usual, I'm joined by Jack.
Yeah, good morning.
So yeah, it's Saturday morning in the gaff, ready to go, review some tracks. What have we got up first?
So first up we've got No Need by Ellie.
Yeah, so I'd come across him through Daniel August's work before. I met him. He came with him when he did the interview for Mabcast episode previously. So honestly, I hadn't been very keen on a lot of his music before, I'm not going to lie. But he came through with this, and it's a pretty good track.
Yeah, it's a bit of a, it's like a sort of like emotional like trap banger, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's got a really, really catchy chorus. It's really well produced. It's got a nice little, like the intro is the same as the outro, so it's a nice little bit of repetition.
Yeah, like continuity.
Yeah. I think that probably leads into the song being a bit too repetitive overall. It's about like 3.5 minutes long. I think it's just about like 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds. It's just a bit too long.
But like, I mean, it's one of them things. It's super clean, well produced, well mixed, and we were even saying the auto tune on the vocals was quite interesting. It didn't sound like the standard auto tune vocals. It almost sounded like a wee bit more operatic or something. Do you know what I mean?
It was quite minimal, I think.
Yeah.
If you like listened to it the first time and you weren't really paying attention, you wouldn't even know it was auto tune.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it sounds really good. The chorus sounds really nice, like it's proper catchy. I think just the verses just like do drag on a little bit towards the end of the song.
It's one of them I'd like to have almost seen someone feature on the track, maybe. Yeah, I think that would have brought like a real good bit of life to it. But yeah, pretty solid track overall. Took a couple of listens to really get what I could like get my thoughts around it. But yeah, good track.
Yeah, definitely pretty strong. I think. Yeah, a bit better than some of his other tracks that he's been putting out recently.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, check that out. All these will be in the link in the bio. Next one, Gucci Milan, a collaborative effort from Daniel August and Jasper Mafia. What did you think?
I thought it was good. Yeah, I think it's ironic that it's Daniel August featuring Jasper Mafia, but I think Jasper's is better on this track than Daniel August is. I think Daniel almost like lets himself down with the verses a little bit. He sort of just mumbles his way through, but not in like a really melodic way. It just sort of feels like he just can't wait to get back to the chorus.
Yeah, because I think the chorus is pretty decent, quite strong, it's his verse that sort of lets him down. But I think that Jasper like juxtaposes his style quite nicely, with that sort of more melodic take on it.
Yeah, I think Jasper like switches it up. He's got like a couple of different flows that he uses, and he's a bit smoother over the beat. I think he flows into it a bit better. But I think Daniel sounds good on the chorus.
Yeah,
like the chorus is catchy. I think like the lyrics are just like sort of like standard like flexing stuff.
Yeah.
No, nothing to really write home about there.
It's one of them things like I can definitely this feels like a throwaway track from them. This doesn't feel like something that's gonna be featuring on a big project or anything. And you can so tell that there's some chemistry and there could be some really great tracks come out of it.
Yeah, it feels like I don't know. Daniel like came up with the chorus and then had this knocking beat and was just like, oh yeah, Jasper, do you want to get on this? We'll just put out like a bit of a banger, just drop it.
Yeah, but I think that's what it was. But I want to see more output from Jasper. Like we've seen Daniel August dropped an EP and he's dropping on something else soon. But I want to see more from Jasper and more collaborative efforts like this, because I think that's really important for a lot of the Northern Irish artists at the moment, is to work with other people and sort of create some new different sounds.
Yeah, it definitely boosts your profile a bit. You like combining the two fan bases, but I think they contrast well together. They sound good on the track. It's just that the track itself isn't like quite as strong as it could be.
Yeah, but I mean, no complaints in terms of like the technicalities of the production or anything like that. All that sort of stuff is super smooth, super clean.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on, we've got Jack Bashful released his Flavors of France album, I guess.
I mean, beat tape would probably be more accurate, but I think he's got it down as an album.
Yeah, well, it's 10 songs. I think 10 songs.
Pretty long.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
I mean, we give it a listen a couple of times last night. It's interesting. Like it's an interesting take. Going through this whole project with like French influenced tracks. Essentially, you've got some really sultry, jazzy takes on it. Some nice drum loops, but I mean, it feels like it should have been something that maybe should have just been maybe 5 tracks dropped on SoundCloud or something. It feels a bit much for what it was, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's probably like a bit too laid back
Yeah.
to keep your interest up for the whole album. I think there's a few standout tracks that are really nice. Like, yeah, you've got like the jazzy sort of like horns influence. There's quite a few of that on like a lot of the tracks. And a few rappers as well, rapping in French.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who they are.
I'm not sure if it's a
listed on the
sample
songs.
or it's but it's interesting for sure.
Yeah,
It's like pretty
that-
cohesive.
That helps to give your interest up for the songs. But I think, yeah, it just doesn't really keep your interest up for the whole thing. I think maybe if it was like France and then I guess like a couple of other countries or something,
Yeah.
like a sort of
Or just, I think even just shorter, less tracks, because I don't think there's enough diversity in the structure of the beats either to like keep your interest.
no, I
it's
think a lot
quite
of
simple.
the like drum beats are quite boring.
Yeah.
I think it focuses a bit too much on the melodies and the sort of samples and other things that play, whereas the drum beats just let it down a bit. They're not interesting enough for you to be.
Yeah, it feels like he worked real hard on finding the like perfect samples and stuff and the way to loop them, but the drum beats just bit forgettable.
Yeah, I think it has a nice atmosphere for the whole thing.
Yeah.
It does.
Like you feel like you're in like a wee cafe, like off in the side streets of Paris or something. You know what I mean? On a Sunday morning.
Yeah, I think that is it. It's the perfect accompaniment for you to like cook your breakfast with on a Sunday, like whapping up an omelette.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't listen to it again if I was just by myself.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting because one of the beats I actually heard him rap over live. So I wonder, has he got other plans for some of the beats or something? I don't know. I don't know for sure what the song's called, but I just remembered I recognized the track straight away.
No, I mean all the songs are in French.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to try and butcher the
No.
pronunciation.
But yeah. So a decent wee project there. So I think we've got one more we're gonna talk, or two more we're gonna talk about. So this one came from, he just goes by Dylan, doesn't he?
Yeah. So
Sick name.
Your side project, I think?
Yeah. My alter ego. So it goes by Dylan, Mr. Complacent. Probably the most interesting out of all the tracks we've got, and I feel like for people that go and listen to this, it'll be a bit more divisive because it is a weird track.
Yeah, well, I think he said it was his first song that he
Oh,
released
did he?
when he sent it through. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, really interesting song. It's like almost like an attack on himself.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's autobiographical, or like maybe it's possibly about like a pastime in his
Yeah,
life.
the vocals almost sounded like an alter ego or something. The way he's filtered them or something. It didn't seem like it was directly him he was talking about. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is, but yeah, some like really like brutally honest lyrics about sort of trying to be a creative but being stuck in your ways, like smoking weed a lot,
Floating around aimlessly,
being on the dole, like sort of feeling like you're wasting your days. But I think it's quite a nice antithesis almost to a lot of tracks that get thrown about now that mental illness has become a bit, everyone's more aware of it and more conscious of it, and you get a lot of people putting out like positive tracks, but they're just always a bit general and like, oh, just be yourself and like,
work hard,
just work hard, like get to it, like all you gotta do is be yourself and eventually everything will work out. And it's not really like that in my opinion. And I think if you're conscious of all these sort of mistakes that you're making and are like really honest with it, that's the only way you can move forwards, which I really appreciate about the song, I think.
I think it's interesting as well because sometimes you're just in a days where you're like, you can just be brutally honest about yourself and you don't need to be super positive and put a positive spin on it. If you're just like laying out bare exactly how things are going, I am just sitting doing this, I should be doing this, and being like honest about your complacency, then maybe he's going to look back in that track if it is like an honest reflection of what's going on and be like, well, there you go, it's laid out bare, that's exactly what's going on. It's quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would be able to put out a track that talks about my life this way, but there's some really interesting wordplay, I think, going on there as well. Like some choice lyrics like, just a spoke on the wheel and the steel is far from stainless.
Yeah.
Some other nice like comfort and containment. But I think like there's one lyric especially that sticks out that's like a bit too
too
value.
edgy. Yeah,
where it's like education systems just a fucking rapist, which is like
just a bit much.
Sort of understand the point he's going for, where they can sort of get on your mind and stifle your creativity, but I just think it's like trying to be edgy. Yeah,
you can think of a more tasteful way to say it, and maybe a bit more well thought out. But I mean,
the beat is really
the beat's
good too,
really
as well.
interesting, and the flow is the first time I heard it, I was like, this is kind of annoying. And then I was like, no, do you know what? It's kind of cool because the way he pronounces a lot of the lyrics and the cadence he has with that auto-tune along with the flow really makes you hear every lyric. It's not, you don't miss any of it, you know what I mean? And none of it gets lost in translation because of the way he's pronouncing it.
Yeah, his vocals are front and center in the track, definitely. Yeah. I think he slips in and out of a rhythmic flow and almost like a spoken word flow at points. But yeah, I think the beat is quite simple, but it's a bit like psychedelic almost.
Yeah, it's like that sort of echoey, like distorted, I don't know, reverb that it's got going on about it. It's interesting. But definitely one of the more interesting tracks we've got this week. You know, it's nice to get a bit of variation because you do get a lot of trap influence stuff, which is all grand, but it's cool to get something a bit different.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what you put out next, mate.
Yeah, definitely. So last one we're going to go for, it's from a bit of a bigger artist, but I just want to I think we just wanted to highlight tracks that are coming out that people want to listen to as well. It's not just, I mean, she's not going to turn around and listen and be like, thanks Mabcast for reviewing my track, but it's like,
well, hopefully.
Hopefully, but like Big Pig, Sunny, but just to highlight some of the good tracks coming out so people can go and listen to them, but absolute fucking banger.
Yeah, I think this is like the sort of pinnacle of like what everyone should be trying to achieve, like vocals, production wise, like lyrical content, like. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible track. Yeah, in my opinion.
I mean, we sort of spoke about how it feels like a bit of a change from a normal, very laid back. It's very laid back, but all the other stuff's a bit more depressing that she puts out. And on first listen, you think, oh, this is a bit more upbeat. You know, the beat's a bit nicer. It's quite summery. But then you listen to the lyrics, and it is still she still follows the same train of thought that she'd had before.
Yeah, I was trying to work the lyrics out earlier on, but it's quite vague and open-ended, but in a good way. I think it's like talking about how maybe you love someone so much that you almost don't want to be around them because you feel guilty about it, or I'm not really sure exactly what it's getting at, but it's a really good track. I think she sounds absolutely amazing, like just like gliding over the beat. It was a almost thumping bass line at points. It's like a proper like almost dance tune.
The drums that are in it as well are absolutely beautiful. Like, I don't know what it is about it. It just is that real subtle element to it where it just makes you want to just, you know, bob dance. Like, you can just imagine like end of a summer's night like dancing to it. But the vibe it kind of was giving me when I listened to it the second time then was it's the end of the summer. You know, it's not like a summer track to get you going or anything. It feels like summer is ending when you're listening to it.
Yeah, there's definitely a touch of melancholy to
it.
Definitely. I think the bass line is unreal. Like, there's a little breakdown towards the end.
Yeah,
the bass really shines. I think it is definitely a bit more accessible.
Yeah. Than some of the other
songs.
Stuff.
There's a couple of hand claps in there, which I don't think you'd hear on some of the other stuff.
No, like a lot of the other stuff, you know, is very much you're lying on your bed depressed as fuck listening to it. You know what I mean? And she interchanges between English and Spanish, and it gives that sort of more poetic feel to it. Whereas this feels a lot more. I don't know why. It just gave me like a Lana Del Rey like vibe to it. I don't know. Like, there's no direct, you know, link to it or anything. It just something about it reminded me of her a bit.
Well, I'm not sure if she played this when we saw her.
Don't think
at
so.
Longitude. I don't think she did, but I kind of wish she did, because I think it would have really like popped off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she'd almost need to do different staging and have like live bass players and stuff with her to have done it. But it'd be interesting to see because now she's signed to a major label now, so it's going to be interesting to see. She'll definitely get the backing to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, hopefully this is a sign of the quality of things to come from it.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of people we'd seen at Longitude, you know, we'd seen a lot of other Irish acts. We'd seen KNEECAP. Versatile had played. We didn't see them. And also then we were at a TPM gig recently in Belfast. And all these sorts of things had got us thinking, these guys have got really big cult followings. And they've got a really different approach to music than a lot of the other artists. You know, they've got that comedic element to it. And we started thinking, is that something that is, you know, because it's cropping up a lot in Ireland, is that something that is going to be the first big wave, you know what I mean, to come out of Ireland, like internationally?
Yeah, well, I think it's a question that we get a lot asked in, or just people that we're talking about with the podcast or whatever, where they say, oh, you know, like, what is the dominant sound, or like, what is the Irish sound for rap and hip hop? Because I think, you know, people like Reggie Snow or Jafaris, that they're good. They're really good artists, but they don't have a really unique to Irish sound.
Yeah, it feels quite Americanized on on a lot of the stuff. I mean, the message maybe is a bit different, and I think that's maybe what it is. It's not the sound per se. It's maybe the message that's going to be distinctly Irish. And that's when the sort of more comedic elements came in to my train of thought. And I was thinking the way that they deliver their message is maybe what is going to be more uniquely Irish. You know, that sort of self-depreciating tone that they often use, or like the politically edgy stuff that's a response to what's going on. I mean, what was your first reaction to seeing the likes of TPM or, you know, KNEECAP or something like that?
Well, my first reaction to CPM was that it was pretty hilarious, to be honest. I think, but I think it's almost like a response to the political climate right now, isn't it? Like, I mean, I don't confess to know a lot about politics here.
Yeah.
But I know that there hasn't been a government for like over 2 years.
Yeah.
I think it's almost easy to just make a joke out of it because it is a joke in of itself.
Yeah, and I think even in the bigger picture, like when we talk about like KNEECAP and the Irish language, that's like, you know, a political response, and it's like a way for younger people to engage in it, because if you're just getting older people talking in political terms that are maybe not as digestible to the younger people, then it doesn't go down as well. But if you've got someone performing music from the most popular genre in the world that's funny, you know, that's a super engaging way to ingest all that information.
Yeah, I think it's easier for that kind of thing to maybe just blow up out of the blue. It's like we were saying, like TPM had like Fuck RTE sort of came up and went a bit viral, because I think when someone makes a song that's really funny and makes you laugh, you're more likely to share it with people than a song that's like really, really quality. Like, I think it have to be like an amazingly good song of just like a serious.
Yeah, because I think I would like, unless there's like a group or someone that's like super amazed me, you know, it's not that frequent that I'll go around being like going out of my way to like share the music with people. But I remember the first time I seen KNEECAP, and I was just like looked at the video and I was just like, what the fuck? And I messaged a few people and I was like, have you seen this before? You know, it's something so different, and even just the like more funny elements to it, you know, add something different. But I think that it's something that you can like almost blow up, like you were saying, without being part of the scene or anything like that. You can do it almost separate to what's going on.
Yeah, well, I think that's the question as well of whether it has that international appeal. Like you were saying, like, is this going to be the first wave to come out of Ireland? Like, is it too specific to Ireland?
Yeah.
Or is it funny enough that, you know, it can appeal to people in England or Scotland or even further reach?
Yeah. I mean, people know our feelings about Versatile, obviously, but they have played, you know, sold out shows in England before as well. And they've obviously proven then that they can do it. And even with the likes of KNEECAP and like TPM, I've seen like Americans commenting on what they're doing. So I don't know if that's whether they're like super engaged with what they're doing, or if that's just them being like, this is a bit gimmicky.
I think with Versatile, their songs that have that more reaching appeal are a bit more general. They're less Irish specific.
Yeah.
Like Ketamine obviously appeals to students and younger people. Ketamine is a really popular drug right now. It's like like I do care.
Yeah.
And like other songs, just like, you know, just having a good time with the boys and stuff like that. So I can see why they've had a bit of a more mainstream appeal.
Because they're almost like selling a lifestyle, aren't they? And that comes across, and like even their style and stuff like that. It feels like they're selling more of a lifestyle than just like creating a one-off song. Yeah,
but I think just with them in general and like KNEECAP, I think it's almost like the response to everyone trying to be American or sound a bit American. Like, I think with hip hop being the biggest genre right now, a lot of people come up and, you know, they're not involved in like gang shit or like stuff like that, and they almost find it hard to talk about topics because that is generally the topic of the genre. Whereas if you're like making a joke out of your life, it's a bit easier to talk about you like losing your bus pass and like things like that and make it more relatable. Yeah, I think that's true, and it comes back to that sort of like authenticity thing, doesn't it? And it's like we were talking before, that it's so important to do, and some people might not see it as cool, you know, talking about these sorts of things, but if that's how things are going down and how things are going on, other people are going to be interested in it because it's not been seen before. But I think that a big point that we talked about before was how punchlines are so important in hip hop, and comedy can really, you know, amplify that. Yeah, I think obviously it is massive in the history. I think a lot of American artists have sort of lost that a little bit.
Yeah.
They're a bit more serious, or like the punchlines aren't jokes, but they're just sort of like meant to hit harder in the song.
I felt like that sort of lived with the boom bap age a bit more, you know what I mean? Because it allowed for that a bit more, just with the style of production.
Yeah, well, I think people focus on wordplay a little bit less and more on production now.
Yeah.
And the rhymes like aren't focused on being really, really memorable. It's just the chorus basically, or the verses just to get you there. But I think, especially with the British and Irish artists, they seem to have still kept a bit more of that.
I guess that's maybe just part of the identity, isn't it, shining through a bit more? And even, I think it's to do with the identity a bit more than anything, and it's something that is differentiating us to the Americans, I guess. But like you said, it's almost the antithesis to the US hip hop flex culture almost.
Yeah, well, I think it's maybe like a bit of a stereotype.
Yeah,
that Irish people are really funny.
Yeah,
they tell really
yeah.
good stories and stuff. But it is a part of like the national identity. I would think.
Yeah.
I think people respond to that really well.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to think if bigger entities are going to take an interest in it, because I still think that it's very small. You know, there's only a few people that are doing it successfully. One, how far can it go? You know, will it only remain in Ireland, and will these people just play festivals all the time? Will KNEECAP just be sort of the modern Wolf Tones in terms of like their Republican identity? Or will record labels start taking an interest in these acts? Will they be able to sell more? Because if they get a bigger budget and can do mad videos, you know, a la Lonely Island, I mean, that's not what they're going for, but you know, I'm talking in terms of production value and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think any of them would really want to be categorized as just
No.
comedy rap.
Yeah.
So I think, with a bigger budget, I'd love to see what some of these artists would be able to do. I mean, you've seen it with like Kojak.
Yeah.
His videos are like almost like levels above what most people are doing, and also have a lot of comedy in them.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't call him a comedy rapper.
Yeah, but I definitely, I think, the likes of like Date Night and stuff like that, the videos, you know, it has that sort of more laid back, it's like more, I don't know, approachable, the more approachable face of rap, isn't it? It's
Well, I think when you don't have the resources as well to make a really well shot video or have some like really cool camera angles, or like have the equipment to do that kind of thing, it's easier to show your personality through comedy.
Yeah. Maybe something that was lacking the last few years, I guess, and it's sort of developing into part of the identity. I know some people won't agree, and think that the likes of, I don't know, Javaris and stuff are going to be way bigger before a lot of these guys, but I think it's important to touch on what they're doing as artists and the way they incorporate comedy into what they're doing. And I think it helps build that sort of cult following as well. You know, people are like, these guys are really funny, or these guys are doing something different.
You can see it when we saw KNEECAP at Longitude.
Yeah.
People are taking along like the bottles of Bucky.
Yeah,
and stuff. It's a proper identity.
Yeah. It's really cool. So, I mean, I think we can wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Good episode, I think. Like, some interesting topics, some great tracks sent through. I mean, thanks everybody for all the response we've gotten all the videos lately. We've been really enjoying it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. Follow us on Spotify if you haven't. Apple Music, all that good shit.
Keep sending the tracks in.
Yeah, keep sending the tracks in. And if you've got any topics that you want us to take on, more than happy to do that. So, it's been Dylan from Mabfield.
Yeah, and Jack.
Peace.